Antony to Atletico? Who would have thought? But the talks are real. De Bruyne's next club, already known. Guardiola is now chasing Morgan Gibbs-White, and Darwin Nunez is packing his bags. The transfer is nearly done. Alright guys, you're probably waiting for this part, huh? I won't keep you in suspense. You know the drill, smash those 400 likes. Without them, the mighty algorithm god gets sad, and the content becomes just a little less divine. But seriously, your support is priceless. Ritual complete, now let's get into the juicy stuff. The hottest transfer rumors. Kevin De Bruyne to Chicago Fire? Not a joke. A real scenario for this summer. Yes, that Kevin. The midfield maestro, the assist king, the brain behind Manchester City's dominance for the past decade. Could soon be pinging passes, not to Haaland, but to some MLS unknowns out on a pitch in Illinois. And honestly, who would have believed this 5 years ago? That one of the greatest playmakers of the 21st century might be threading through balls in a league where half the teams still have FC in their names for aesthetics. But welcome to football's new reality. His contract with City is up in June, and from the looks of it, both sides have already shaken hands and said, "It's been real, thanks for everything." Truth is, City just didn't feel the need to hold on to a veteran whose gears are starting to wear down. De Bruyne's body can't quite handle the insane tempo Pep demands anymore. This season's been a cycle of injuries, brief comebacks, flashes of genius, and then, boom, back on the treatment table. So now the big question, where does the Belgian conductor go next? Enter the MLS, and no, not Inter Miami, Messi, Busquets, Alba, and co. already maxed out the designated player slots over there. It's Chicago Fire. Yeah, the same club better known for logo changes than league titles. And suddenly, they're gunning for De Bruyne, from Champions League nights to facing Columbus Crew. What even is this timeline? But hey, if this actually happens, it'll be absolute shock content. According to Rumours, Chicago has secured priority negotiation rights and is going all in to bring KDB into their reboot project. The team's run by former US MNT coach Greg Berhalter, not exactly a tactical genius, but a guy with experience. The plan seems simple. Get us a star, we'll figure out the rest later. Now, of course, it's not just MLS on the table. Aston Villa reportedly want him to help fuel a top 4 push. Germany? Werder and Wolfsburg are tossing their hats in. Old connections die hard. Saudi Arabia? Naturally standing nearby, waving sacks of cash as always. But here's the twist. Sources say De Bruyne isn't all that interested in oil money. He wants comfort for his family, a quieter lifestyle. And the US ticks those boxes beautifully. Now imagine it, MLS with Messi, Suarez, and De Bruyne added to this veteran all-stars retirement villa, but not in flashy, hyped-up Miami, in Chicago Fire, a team that hasn't exactly thrilled fans in recent years. Per Transfermarkt, Kevin's still worth 27 million euros, which would make this the most expensive transfer in MLS history. Yes, even more than Messi. Let that sink in. That's basically North America yelling, "Look what we can do now." But let's pause and ask the tough questions. Can De Bruyne actually handle the physical demands of MLS? It's not the Premier League, sure, but it's a league where you run. A lot. What if his body fails him again? What if he turns into just another tourist with a footballing past? Then again, even standing still, this guy can split open a backline like he's got a cheat code. Put him in the right system, and you're getting pure magic. So now it's your turn. Do you want to see De Bruyne in MLS? Or does he still have enough gas in the tank for one last run in Europe? And let's be honest, is joining Chicago Fire a step forward, a step sideways, or a dramatic fall from grace? Darwin Nunez is packing his bags. Hard to believe, right? It feels like just yesterday, Liverpool were dropping £85 million on the Uruguayan, hyping him up as the next big thing, maybe even the new Suarez. And now, just 2 seasons later, he's being linked with a move away. And not just anywhere, but to Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. Yep, the rumors are real. Atletico want Nunez. The plan? A loan with a mandatory buy clause worth around 40 to 45 million euros. That's almost half of what Liverpool paid Benfica for him. Bargain bin price, but with pace and chaos included at no extra cost. You can almost picture Liverpool's stance here. Thank you for your pressing and passion, Darwin, but it's time to move on. Arne Slot seems to want a clean slate in attack, and Nunez just doesn't fit the blueprint. Too many missed chances, too much raw energy, too little end product. One moment it's the crossbar, next moment it's row Z, a roller coaster. Beautiful chaos. But here's the twist. Atletico absolutely love that. For them, he's close to the ideal fit, not too expensive, full throttle, and crucially already familiar with La Liga. Don't forget, before Benfica, Nunez was tearing it up at Almeria, and you just know Simeone has a soft spot for those all-action, borderline kamikaze forwards. Honestly, if anyone's built for the madness of Simeone ball, it's Darwin. He presses, he fights, he runs like a man possessed, even when the shots don't go in. And with Cholo in charge, who knows? Maybe that chaotic hurricane we see now turns into a goal-scoring machine. After all, Simeone made warriors out of Costa, Torres, Suarez. Maybe Nunez is next in line. Now, back to Liverpool. Are they really about to sell him for peanuts? Well, not exactly. The deal is structured smartly. It's a loan with conditions. If Darwin doesn't become a starter or hits certain performance targets, Atletico walk away. But if he delivers, boom, they're obligated to buy. It's a calculated exit, pressure off the player, potential cash back for the club. And I've got to be honest, I feel for Darwin. He worked hard, gave it everything, but just didn't click. Maybe the system didn't suit him. Maybe the chemistry with teammates was off. Maybe the fans never gave him room to breathe. Classic case of wrong time, wrong place. But for us, the neutral fans, this could be gold. Imagine Nunez tearing up La Liga next season, storming down the wings at the Metropolitano, finally hitting that groove. Could be the comeback story of the year. So, what do you think? Is Darwin about to become Simeone's next fearless striker? Or is Atletico just gambling on a wild card? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this move, it's got chaos written all over it. Pep's back on the mic, and this time, it's personal. The Catalan football wizard has confirmed. When his contract with Manchester City ends, he's gone. No, maybe. No, we'll see. He's leaving. Full stop. And the way he said, "I will leave," it had that calm finality, like the man's already packing his suitcase. What comes next? Retirement? A sabbatical? Even he doesn't know if he'll coach again. Just like that. A twist no one saw coming from someone we all thought was welded into City's DNA. Now let's rewind. Remember how this all started? Autumn, fog, tea with lemon, and the headline, Pep stays, new contract signed. And then, boom, City starts slipping. You couldn't shake the feeling. Pep's burned out, like a light bulb flickering before it dies. Sitting on the bench, arms folded, that blank stare, like even he couldn't make sense of what was happening on the pitch. From Champions League finalists to playing like it's still pre-season. But credit where it's due, Pep didn't run. He didn't ghost the club, didn't hide. He stood at those press conferences like a rock and said it straight. I won't walk away. Fire me if you want, but I'm not quitting. That takes guts. Most managers in his shoes would have danced around the truth. Pep? He stayed. And slowly, very slowly, he turned the ship around. No, City aren't steamrolling the league like the old days, but they're top 3 in the Premier League. They're in the FA Cup final, and that's still a shot at silverware and a ticket back to the Champions League. Who thought that was possible back in January? They were on the verge of collapse, no Europe, no nothing, and yet here we are. But don't get too comfy. Pep already teased what's coming. The rebuild is on. New generation, new transfers, more cash injections, obviously. A new City for a new era. So, yeah, expect another summer of madness, record signings, transfer chaos, and wild pressers. But this time, it's different. There's a time limit now. Because if Pep's to be believed, this is his final act in England. He's in his 9th season at City. That's insane when you remember. 4 years at Barca, 3 at Bayern. This is already his longest stay ever. Who would have guessed this bald genius wouldn't just bring trophies to Manchester, but redefine the entire identity of the club? Maybe even the whole Premier League. Let's be honest, it's under Pep that City became the super club, a team that makes opponents nervous before they even leave the tunnel. So yeah, Pep is leaving, but he's doing it in style. Not now, but you can already feel it, that shift in the air. The end of an era creeping in. The only hope that these last 2 seasons don't feel like empty filler episodes. Because who knows, maybe this will be Pep's loudest, most epic final symphony in Manchester. And now, the question goes to you. Do you really think Pep will retire? Or will he vanish, recharge, and reappear a year later on the sidelines of Brazil? Or maybe Juventus? Let me know what you think. Looks like Pep and his Manchester City gang finally realized that football without De Bruyne is like pizza without cheese. Technically still pizza, but something's just off. And now, out of nowhere, a name pops up that most people only picked in fantasy teams out of pure desperation. Morgan Gibbs-White. Yep, you heard that right. The Nottingham Forest lad is now on Guardiola's radar. According to insiders, City isn't wasting time. They've already started their chase for Gibbs-White. Fabrizio Romano, our beloved Here We Go oracle, says talks are about to kick off. And the tone? Dead serious. Not just interest, priority target. Meaning there's a whole summer shortlist. But Gibbs-White, he's right at the top. And here's the obvious question. Are they aiming too high or maybe too low? Let's be honest, Morgan's been carrying Forest this season. He's been the director, the engine, the playmaker. And yeah, he's got a creative spark. But still, he's not De Bruyne. He's not about laser passes and surgical precision. He's more energy, pressing, running, doing a bit of everything. More of a gritty wins guy than a magical maestro. So, what do you think? Could he actually help City win another Champions League? Or is this just a placeholder move until a shinier name becomes available? One thing's for sure, Pep seems to be looking for a different type of creativity now. Not a De Bruyne 2.0, but maybe a full system reboot. Less conductor with a baton, more warrior with endless stamina. A shift in style, not just a like-for-like replacement. But of course, Forest aren't exactly throwing him out the door. They've had a nerve-wracking season, and if their best player leaves too, that's a full-on disaster. Sure, financial fair play might twist their arm and force a sale, but for now, they're clinging to him with everything they've got. And as for personal terms, no issues there. Sounds like Gibbs-White won't need much convincing once Pep picks up the phone and says, "Hey, fancy a Champions League semi-final?" I mean, who says no to that? The real question though, if he does arrive at the Etihad, will he start or end up in rotation limbo like Kovacic this season? You never know with Pep. He might turn him into a false nine, a holding mid, or a goalkeeper for all we know. Bottom line, City's not waiting around. While others are still browsing the free agents aisle, Pep's already picking his targets. And Gibbs-White? He's the first fish on the hook. So yeah, let's wait for that classic "here we go" moment from Fabrizio. But in the meantime, drop your thoughts in the comments. Is this move a genuine step forward for City or just another checkbox signing? And if not Gibbs-White, who would you want as the new De Bruyne? One thing's clear, this summer's transfer window. It's not gonna be a window, it's gonna be a damn galaxy. Atletico Madrid are eyeing one of the most controversial transfers of the decade, none other than Brazilian winger Antony. Yes, that Antony, the one Manchester United paid nearly as much for as Real Betis spends on half their squad. But guess what? He's actually showing signs of life now. At Betis, of all places. No Ballon d'Or level performances, but at least he's no longer making fans want to turn off their TVs after every touch. Looks like he finally remembered football isn't just about training ground dances and Instagram reels, it's also about end product. So now, Atletico are thinking, maybe there's a Simeone-style cog in this Brazilian after all. No formal offer yet, but reports say they've already sent a feeler to Manchester United. And United, as always, happy to offload a failed transfer as long as they get back some fraction of the 100 million euros they threw into the fire. The current asking price? Around 50 million euros. Just for context, United paid nearly double that. Insane? Welcome to Manchester United in recent years. And here's the kicker. Ajax didn't even want to sell Antony at the time. He was worth about 30 million euros. But United, in true money printer, go brrr fashion, pushed the bid so high that Amsterdam simply couldn't say no. I mean, with 100 million euros, you can renovate your stadium, build an academy, and still have cash left for birdseed. Fast forward a few painful seasons, and Transfermarkt now values him at 20 million euros. That's backup level money in the Premier League, not next big thing territory. So here's the plan. According to the latest whispers, Atletico aren't exactly keen to hand over a blank check. The likely scenario, a loan with an option, not an obligation, to buy. Makes sense, right? Who's dropping tens of millions based on a couple of decent games at Betis? You've got to be cautious here. At least bring a helmet and a bulletproof vest, just in case you're about to repeat United's path. On the other hand, Simeone's no fool. He actually likes players who work hard. And to be fair to Antony, even when everything else in his game was falling apart, he always ran, tracked back, pressed, bit at opponents, fought for the ball. Honestly, Simeone would never watch these videos without subscribing first. He'd hit that button, press you into a corner, and then ring the bell. Be like Cholo, press hard and subscribe now. So yeah, Antony might fit the Atleti style, but does he have the football IQ and consistency to survive the pressure cooker that is Madrid? Because let's be real, Betis is a sunny siesta compared to the no-mercy cauldron of the Wanda Metropolitano. But what do you think? Would a move to Atletico be a step up, or just the next brutal test for a player who never truly lived up to the hype? Because with the kind of form he's shown recently, one more flop, and it's a one-way ticket to the Sevilla bench. Or worse, a plane to Saudi Arabia for some emotional fulfillment and a sack of oil money. You know what blows my mind? How Manchester United still managed to attract investors with transfer flops like this. They paid a fortune for a glass-bodied player, wasted years of hope and patience, and now want to offload him for the price of a mid-range laptop at Turkish duty-free. But let's be honest, has anyone really thrived at United lately? Sancho? Varane? Name one. So maybe it's not just on Antony. At least in Spain, you can finally see a spark in his eyes, a glimpse of footballing joy. So yeah, we'll be watching this one. If Atletico go through with it, it'll be a shock move. If not, we wait for the next twist in the saga called Who Will Save Antony's Career? And now it's your turn. Does he deserve a second shot at the top, or is it time to hang up the controller and book that MLS flight?